Spoiler alert, everybody who gets into nursing school is probably already really smart and like at the top of their classes. And, you know, they're doing really great in high school, blah, blah, blah. Then you get into college, you do great in your undergrad or in your prerequisites. And then nursing school is like a slap in the face.
Welcome back to the Nice Bro podcast, the #1 personal development podcast for healthcare and wellness professionals. I am NENEPABLO, host of this podcast, registered nurse and creator of Nice Bro. I am joined by my beautiful wife again, Lexa. Everybody welcome Lexa to the show.
Hello. First of all, I'm so hyped by this music. I can hear it in my ears. I'm like...
We are excited because today we're going to be talking about something that I think is really important. In life, we are going to face trials. We're going to be burnt by situations that are very tough. We're going to talk about the life lessons that we learned through nursing school. Mm-hmm. You want to start?
I guess I'll start off heavy because the first thing that really colored my experience in nursing school was failure. And so I would say, #1, the first life lesson I learned from nursing school was failure is not the end. It's only a pause.
Yeah.
And I say that because, unfortunately, I was a super senior. I had 2 classes that I failed and had to retake throughout nursing school.
2 classes.
2 classes. So I failed those 2 classes, had to retake them. And it was a very difficult experience because I was just not used to that. Okay.
She was used to success.
Spoiler alert. Everybody who gets into nursing school is probably already really smart and like at the top of their classes. And, you know, they're doing really great in high school, blah, blah, blah. And then you get into college, you do great in your undergrad or in your prerequisites. And then nursing school is like a slap in the face. Like you can't just la-di-da-di-da throughout your classes. You actually have to study. You can't just rely on your smarts. Like it takes a lot of work. The failure that I experienced, it really, really put me in a dark place. It was really, really difficult to think positively, to like deal with the reality I might fail out of this program. And this is what I've been working towards for years. Yeah. So that really put me in a different space. And I was challenged to think of it like that this is not the end of the world. Even if I do fail out of the program, this is not the end of my life. It's not the end of the world.
That's super helpful for people who are maybe going through it right now and they don't feel like they're going to pass something. Like that's not the end of the world.
No.
I know it's important. I'm not saying that it's not important. Did people tell you maybe nursing isn't for you, sweetie?
No, you know, actually, that's funny you ask because my struggles were very private. I didn't talk to my professors. I should have asked for help earlier, which I didn't, which was part of the problem.
That's a lesson you learned right there.
But yeah, my struggling was very private. I did not ask for help until I had already failed and was repeating the class and still struggling. Hello. And yeah, so nobody was like, you're going to just fail out. Everybody was like, oh no, you're going to be okay. It was just a lot of pitiful. I feel like people were they pitied me a lot and they were like just seeing me go through it. But they were mostly encouraging. Like my professors, when I finally asked them for help, they were like, listen, I'm here to help you. It is my job. I want you to pass. So let's go through the material. And it was just encouraging to finally see that.
Yeah, which is another thing. Be humble enough to ask, Lex.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to ask for help.
But I would say something that a life lesson I learned going through nursing school was if you knew all of the answers, you would probably be too scared to move forward. When I went to nursing, I didn't have any family in nursing. I didn't know what nursing even looked like.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember just picking it because I thought, you know what? I like anatomy and physiology.
I like helping people.
I like helping people, you know? My absent-mindedness was just like, yeah, I think this will be fun. Mm-hmm. I like blood and veins and, you know, helping people, whatever.
Yeah.
And I always remember seeing like the syringe in movies, or like, and they would do this.
They flick the
They
syringe.
flick
Like,
the syringe
dink, dink.
with the
You're like,
bubbles. And I'm
whoa,
like, wow,
so
that
cool.
looks so cool. I want to do that. But yeah, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I don't encourage people to just go in blindly. But what I am saying is that sometimes, if you're anxious too much because you know everything about it, you actually will talk yourself out of very hard things. Sometimes you don't need all the answers.
You're saying ignorance is bliss. In
Ignorance
some
a lot of
cases.
times is bliss, low-key.
To an extent.
Low-key.
The second life lesson, I would say I learned that prayer is an exercise of faith. It wouldn't earn me good grades to pray.
Yeah.
But I noticed that my way of praying, my way of studying, my way of going in nursing school changed after my failures. I think beforehand I was trying really hard to succeed on my own. Like I said, I didn't ask for help. I was too ashamed to ask the hard questions or to even look stupid. So I was that silent person. And I learned whenever I studied, like I would pray every time that I said, like right before I sat down with my books and my notes and, all of the lectures, I would pray like, Lord, like I've been through this before. I have failed. Clearly I've seen this material and it's not got into my brain the right way. So I need you to help me. So I would ask God to make my eyes look at the right information, to make my study time efficient, like things that, I don't know. It sounds almost like magical. Like I need God to do this special thing. But honestly, like why not ask that? If I really believe in an all-powerful God, why wouldn't I be asking him to study when I'm going to be treating people's bodies and being part of the healing, And so that was an exercise of faith because I also grew in the trust that even if he didn't give me what I asked for, he was still good. He still knew best. And I can trust him. I could trust him even if I failed out the program because he knew best. And maybe that was the path that he wanted to take me on. I passed.
Really?
I eventually became a nurse.
Good for you.
So yeah, it was a good exercise of faith.
Another thing that I learned was that I am expendable. I am replaceable.
You learned this in nursing school?
I learned this in nursing school. I'll tell you why. It was towards the end. When I entered nursing school, I got involved in everything.
Yeah.
I became the tutor. I first started doing like the public relations officer for the Student Nurses Association. Yeah. I was involved. I knew everybody's name. I had a really cool relationship with the chair of the department. Every teacher loved me. And they still, think of me in a high regard, I'm sure.
He was also the president of Student Nurses Association.
Yeah, and then in my senior year, I became Student Nurses Association president.
Overachiever.
And I put things together. I was like involved in putting activities together. And it was just like I was so involved. I helped remodel the whole nursing building, the old one that we were in. Like I was involved.
Yeah, you were that guy.
Yeah, like people knew my name. And then towards the end of my my college years, I was close to graduation. I started seeing how replaceable I was. There was like new people coming in, and it felt like I was just kind of, all right, you're going to graduate and you're going to go.
Yeah, you weren't the shiny new object or anything. You weren't like super useful at the end of your time there.
Right, at the very end. I'm not saying that this was like, in my senior year. It was really towards like the graduation week. It started settling in, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was really towards that end. And then even afterward, when I was studying for the NCLEX, it almost felt like it was like everything just was unplugged. Like I'm gone now. And like the new people are there.
Yeah, you're no longer big shot.
Right, and I started realizing that, you know what, before I went to nursing school, there was SNA president. There was a tutor there, bro.
Yeah. Somebody else was the big shot.
You're not it, right? Like other people will replace you, and it was a very hard lesson to learn, but I was pretty self-centered, I would say, and nursing school taught me like, hey, bro. You're not that smart. I almost failed out of the program as well. And you're not that important. In God's eyes, you're the only one.
You're the only you. Yes.
In God's eyes, you are, you know what I mean? He would come and die if it was just for you.
Yeah.
Right? But we have to realize that in this world, like, it doesn't revolve around you. It does not revolve around you.
That's a good lesson. It does not revolve around you.
Yeah. That's free money I'm just giving out.
Third life lesson I learned is that my worth cannot be based on my achievements.
Wow.
Like I said earlier, whenever you've been a high achiever all of your life and you're in your, early 20s and you get hit with failure and then failure again, because this is, sort of several tests that you continue to fail until you failed the class. Like, it's a big hit to the ego. It's a big hit to your self-esteem. I fell into a pretty deep, dark depression. My coping mechanism was sleeping a lot, like taking lots of naps, losing a lot of time, burying myself in entertainment because it was just really difficult to deal with. And I definitely tied my self-worth to my achievements because I guess I had been doing that subconsciously since since my childhood. So that was totally dismantled during nursing school. I was forced to look at myself and look at my life. Why was I so depressed? And that was the first time that I actually went to therapy. So after I experienced that darkness and that anxiety of like having to go and like share, I failed with family and with friends, therapy was a good experience because I learned how badly I was affected by my failure. And I also experienced what are the first steps that I can take to take care of my brain. Mental health is very important.
100%.
And in college, like a lot of diseases and mental health issues come out because of that high stress. And I can say I know several people that experienced that in college. They got diagnoses because of that high stress. And so I guess that's like a two-pronged life lesson. Your worth cannot come from your achievements because ultimately there will be a failure in your life that you're going to face.
Right.
So base it on something that is constant, something that's not going to change.
Yeah.
And then also prioritize your mental health.
And I'm so grateful that we have that choice to look at our experiences and learn from them. As much as they burn. And it's very hard it's easy to say it after, right? And it's hard to say it in the moment. But if you're going through school right now, whether you're going to nursing school or you're going to any other higher education or something in the medical world, it's tough out there. It's tough out there, and the schooling is not easy. And I would just encourage you to look at your circumstance and choose to say, I am going to go through the fire, and I know that I can look at this, and at the end, I'll be a better person. It will develop me into a better person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that nursing school definitely teaches us, that we're able to get through some really tough times.
Yeah, that's probably the most positive takeaway is that if you can get through nursing school, you can probably get through anything.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stress involved. There's also the possibility of failure, but just you practice high stress tolerance and you also experience the realization that you need to do things to take care of your mind.
Yeah.
All throughout that time, because nursing as a career too is not a low stress. In most cases, at least bedside, we'll say, is not a low stress job. And if you're going to do that for the rest of your life or do something in nursing that could put you in such high stress for a long time, you need to learn how to take care of yourself before you're out there.
If you're watching on YouTube, I would just encourage you, if you've gone through a very tough season, or maybe you're currently going through it, what are you learning? What did you learn in that very, very tough season of school? I know that you can find something that you learned about yourself, about others. And so choose to look at life that way. Choose to look at life that way. This podcast, I love talking about things that develop our character. and our circumstances will develop our character. You can either choose to complain about your situation or choose to focus on the positive. And whether you choose to complain, it will develop your character, but it'll develop it in a very poor way, and you will start to carve out how your mind is going to automatically trigger in future circumstances. So if you choose to focus on the positive, it'll start to, that plasticity, that brain plasticity, you'll automatically view things in a positive way or automatically start looking at things in a negative way and look at yourself as a victim in all situations. And so I would just encourage you to view life through the lens of positivity. If this has been a blessing to you, I want to encourage you to share it with somebody. Okay, please do that. If everybody listened to this and shared it on their social media, it would start spreading, a positive message to healthcare. And I always like to say that even though healthcare is broken, that does not mean you have to be. So if you want to spread positive messages through your social media, through your friends in healthcare, please share this and share our page as well on Instagram at Nice Veins Bro, the website as well, niceveinsbro.com. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please drop a 5-star review. It also helps to kick it out to the algorithm so other people can listen and enjoy some of this positive content. It's all about God, wellness, and purpose here. Remember to be a positive force and influence within healthcare and society. Que Dios me lo bendiga. By the way, do you like the set? Look at this. We're looking real tropical in here. We just need the ocean breeze.
Those are waves. I'm a failure.
Ay, naco. Nice Veins Bro, everybody. Go check it out. We're great. When I would listen to podcasts before I became a podcaster myself, I didn't realize how much leaving a 5-star review helped. And so now on this side, I just want you to know that it really does mean a whole lot when people review and share the content. So if you enjoyed it, please share it with somebody and leave a 5-star review on whichever platform you use, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And if you're interested, you can also find us on social media at Nice Veins Bro, or shop online at niceveinsbro.com. My personal stuff you can find under NENEPABLO, which is spelled NENEPABLO. I spend most of my time on YouTube making vlogs and videos and on Instagram. So I would love to connect with you. And remember, be a positive force and influence within healthcare and society. It's all about God, wellness, and purpose here. Thank you for listening.